At the beginning of Lioness Season 2, Episode 2, Zoe Saldana returns to the United States to meet with Caitlin, Nicole Kidman and other military leaders following the pandemonium of the rescue effort in Mexico. 3 possible Lioness candidates have been lined up, but Jo isn't having any of it.
Dark covert, but it's not going to end up that way.
The skill sets need to support
3 days? Yeah. I'll meet you at Blitz.
She chooses her assets and manages the business. She will summon the military when they are in need.
What are these?
$1?
Exactly. That.
Yeah.
Come, I have a whole...
I'm not strangers, Mom, they're customers.
That's great. I know, I can barely...
I saw you. You were,
You're old enough to know that.
OE emphasizes to Caitlin that she must discover out how to get in before they find a lioness, since her abilities should complement the objective rather than work against it. Jo needs some time to do that. Then, Caitlin reminds Jo that everyone is paying attention how this mission plays out and allows her time before meeting her at Fort Bliss. She spends some time at home before Jo embarks on the expedition. Charlie, Celestina Harris, who is selling lemonade and some artwork with a friend, is the first person she encounters. Jo's alarm goes off when a client purchases Charlie's artwork and asks to see how she plans to display it in her van. She then switches into CIA mode, pulls out her rifle, and walks up to the van. Fortunately, the client is only demonstrating to Charlie how her artwork would appear in her vehicle. Charlie is reminded by Jo not to go off with strangers. When Kate, Hannah Love Lanier, returns home, she immediately informs her mother that she saw her on the news after the Mexico incident and inquires as to why she chose this particular career.
I'm not about to learn to speak.
This next one has me.
I don't know where the conflicts are. I don't know where you're going.
Watching the news.
why can't you just buy a stock?
Jo claims that following Pearl Harbor, her grandpa, who had come from the Dominican Republic, enlisted in the army at the age of 17. Jo's father, his son, later questioned why he put his life in danger for a nation he hardly knew at the time. He claimed that after learning English, he had no desire to study German or Japanese. To Jo, Kate's laughter isn't a joke. She feels the same way. She does not want her girls to be forced to study Russian or Chinese. After that, Jo catches up with Neil, played by Dave Annable, and informs him that she would be staying closer to home at her new employment. Given this, Neil questions if they can violate their policy of not discussing her work because there's a good chance it will make the headlines once more. All she says is, "Don't watch the news." Jo declares her love for her family and bids them farewell after getting ready. After she goes, Kate can't stop crying because she's afraid of what her mother will do. At Fort Bliss, Jo and Caitlin meet up with their squad, which consists of Kyle, Thad Luckenbill, Cody, Taylor Sheridan, and, for fun, Bobby's, Jill Wagner last lover before coming out as homosexual.
I'm waiting till you see the bathroom. Everybody.
Is this gonna work for your team?
Well, help me.
Glad someone's shot. I did get shot.
What am I missing?
You can catch the irony in that.
How you doing, Bobby?
Good.
I gotta go shoot some pirates from an old tanker.
Got out. No, we're not. Unit Linz.
Grass.
No wonder you're gay.
Right.
Clearly didn't get the memo.
I'll survive.
Good. Through the Sierra Madres to the coast of eastern New Mexico, multiple cartels fighting over those choke.
What's that?
Black market oils, most accessible border crossing points, Pablo Carrillo. 53. Pablo Carrillo. Josefina Carrillo. 2 bronze stars and a silver, and that's his home. Is that?
In his brief, Kyle describes Los Tigres cartel head Alvaro Carrillo and his brother Pablo Carrillo, a former U.S. soldier and immigration lawyer who earns $110,000 a year and has a $3.5 million home. Additionally, Kyle mentions that Pablo's daughter, Captain Josefina Carrillo, Genesis Rodriguez, is a U.S. Army helicopter pilot. It's obvious that Kyle believes Josefina should be Jo's next lioness. Kyle believes they should be focusing on Josephina's background, but Joe points out that they couldn't conceal it. Joe considers it. Her experience as a pilot may be attractive to Alvaro for transporting helicopter payload into the US if she is dishonorably discharged. Why don't you just have Josephina kill Alvaro? Bobby says. Joe clarifies that they're actually searching for the Chinese agent who is pulling the strings, not him. Caitlin presents the concept to Byron, played by Michael Kelly, over the phone. Joe must verify that the asset will be enrolled in the Lioness program while they work things out. They must talk to her in order to do it. The issue with it is that she is presently serving in Iraq. To discuss their idea, Byron and Caitlin meet with Mullins, Morgan Freeman, Holler, Bruce McGill, and Mason, Jennifer Ely. Josephina's impressive military record and her more than 800 kills, numbers tend to add up when flying an Apache, are described. Mullins queries the reason behind her lack of promotion. In order to remain involved in the activity, Caitlin thinks she is still a captain. After that, they discuss the plan. Josephina's military career would end if they were unable to falsify her discharge, although Byron points out that she could join the CIA or enter witness protection if she chooses to continue serving after the mission.
What would be in the road?
Damn, that's... Good boss.
I'm good.
Captain Corella! What the fuck do you... Whoa, you think I fucking choose? They just didn't notify anyone else. Hey, are you gonna call their parents? Fucking touch!
She would then return home, where it is anticipated that her uncle would hire her as a pilot so she could perform runs for him. Hopefully, her status as a family member would grant her access that no one else had. Byron refers to her as a Trojan horse since she can fly the operators that would murder their target without any training. What dangers exist, then? The main one is meddling from Homeland Security, the DEA, and the cartels. It would be preferable if the cartel found her and killed her. She would face public punishment if she is apprehended by US authorities, revealing that this was a CIA operation and alerting China to the US's involvement in an act of war. Caitlin then notes that Josephina would reciprocate if the D were to hire her. She flees as they pursue her. They shoot, and she shoots back. Mullins and his crew confer for a few minutes and then approve them. However, Mullins will undoubtedly remind Byron that he is ultimately responsible, so avoid being caught. When Caitlin announces they're going, Joe is already in Iraq, so she has to close Josephina. A gang of Iraqi terrorists attacks the convoy as Joe's escort drives over a road mine on the route to base. As the team is pinned down, Joe calls in help, which soon arrives in the shape of a chopper and swiftly destroys the enemy forces. 2 episodes and 2 significant firefights for Joe, a terrible start to the season. Joe returns to the base to speak with Josephina, the helicopter pilot. But Josephina comes out swinging, accusing Joe of ruining the situation. The two engage into a fist fight because Joe doesn't take being screamed at well.
Captain Corella! What the fuck do you... Whoa, you think I fucking choose? They just didn't notify anyone else. Hey, are you gonna call their parents? Fucking touch me!
Captain!
Highest ranking officer. Any M16s from the first fuck...
Routine, and that's what we did! Through the double doors all the way down on the right. DOD has a dark side, Captain.
Joe claims to be in control and insists that Josephina meet with her in 10 minutes when Josephina's commanding officer interrupts. How well does Josephina know her uncle? Joe asks. The soldier, however, disputes that she has an uncle. How is her Spanish? Joe asks. Spanish is not something Josephina speaks. The home of her father. Josephina has no knowledge about that. Then Josephina asks Joe what he wants from her. Joe says, "Do you love your country?" Joe discloses that she works for the CIA and has been assigned to track down the guys responsible for Congresswoman Hernandez's kidnapping. Joe's portion of the Lioness program is put together by Josephina. She informs Joe that she has never encountered anyone who has survived the Lioness program and that she is a soldier rather than an assassin. Joe only gets a yes or no response when he asks Josephina if she loves her nation. Following several efforts at deflection, Josephina eventually responds, yes, through tears, as if agreeing to accompany Joe on this expedition. Joe then inquires as to whether Josephina is tattooed. No, she says. As the episode comes to a close, Joe closes the room and demands that she prove it to him.
Prove it.